Hugging Face Transformers launched a new thing called tools and agents. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to do hands-on Hugging Face agents. You're going to see everything from using OpenAI to how to change the agent to one of the open source large language models. And this Google Colab notebook is what we're going to use for this video. A disclaimer, it's not something that I created. It's actually given by the Hugging Face team, but I've made some changes to the code. So at the end of this video, you will learn what is Hugging Face Transformers agents, which I've detailed video before, but this is purely hands-on video. And we are also going to learn how to change the large language model. And finally, we will end the video where we'll create our custom tool so that you don't have to rely on the models that are only available currently today. This seems like a good direction of Hugging Face Transformers, where it seems like what LangChain has been doing in this space. Now you have got a lot of companies trying to do, but leaving all those things aside, let's get started with the hands-on tutorial of Hugging Face agents. So first thing first, you have to open the Google Colab notebook, which will be linked in the YouTube description, and you need Transformers version v2.9 at least. And make sure that you're running this on a GPU. The way you can test this is go click runtime, click change runtime, and then you would most likely see the GPU hardware accelerator. If you have got Google Colab Pro, then you would get access to powerful GPUs. But all the things that I tested in this video, I tested it on a T4 machine. So the free tier of Google Colab should ideally work fine. So what are we going to do? We're going to look at two new things, tools and agents. Tools and agents are what we are going to look at it. The first thing is we need to do the setup. The setup is quite easy. If you look at the code, you're going to install the Transformers, the right version of Transformers. You're going to install Hugging Face Hub, and you are also going to install certain additional libraries like diffusers for image creation, accelerate for accelerated computing, datasets to load certain dataset, torch, of course, PyTorch to load the audio file or play the audio file, sound file, sentence piece like helps in tokenization, OpenCV for image computer vision, and OpenAI, of course, if you want to use OpenAI LLM. So this is all part of the setup. You don't have to run the code. This is available there. All you have to do is click this play button, and that will install the right version of Transformers for you. And then it will start doing everything for you. When you run this, it's going to show you this screen and ask you to add the token. Getting the token is quite easy, but if you're not familiar with that, go to your Hugging Face profile, wherever there you are. Go click the profile name, the top right corner, click settings. Once you click settings, you would have all the details there, and you have to look for access token. Go to access token, copy the token, come back, and then go here, go back to the notebook, and then paste the token, and then click login. That's it. Your Hugging Face token is added to this notebook, which means this notebook can access certain elements like inference API, the existing models, existing dataset as part of the notebook. Now, if you do not have any token available already, you need to create a token with write access. That's again quite simple. Go back to the same place, like I said, profile, settings, access token, and click new token and click write permission and then give a name. So you can say HF agent or something like that, just to know that you are creating a token for Hugging Face agents. And copy this token here and come back to the Google Colab notebook, paste it, and you're done. So this is how you can get the Hugging Face token. Hugging Face token is required for two different things primarily. One, for you to use one of the models that they have got, which is StarCoder or OpenAssist. At this point, Hugging Face is letting you use these API endpoints for free. Typically, it would be like there is a limit that you can use every month, some X amount of API calls. But now Hugging Face is letting you use two open source models, StarCoder and OpenAssistant for free, but still OpenAI is the best. So if you don't want to use your OpenAI token, all you can do is you can come to this particular section called agent init and select the right agent that you want. So I'm not going to go ahead with OpenAI API key. I've already done a demo in the first video with OpenAI API key. A lot of people ask me to do it with open source LLMs. That's why I'm doing this separate hands-on video. If you want to see how to do it with OpenAI, please watch the first video. But it's quite simple. If you select OpenAI, then you need to initialize with OpenAI API key. But we are going to go ahead with StarCoder or OpenAssist. I'm going to go ahead with StarCoder, and you can see how it changes. It's very simple code. Even if you want to code it, all you have to do is from Transformer tools, import Hugging Face agent. Then you have to initialize with the agent endpoint. You can see that star coder is there, or you can go and then see how the agent is called from transformers.tools, import hf agent, and then the hf agent URL endpoint comes here. If you want to use some other model, like for example, there are a lot of models in Hugging Face. Go to the Hugging Face model hub, and let's say one of the models that is quite popular these days is Dolly. Let's say Dolly. So if you want to, let's say you want to use Dolly, what you can do is you can go there and you can actually see here in the one of the items here how you can use this model as part of an inference endpoint. So this model, what Hugging Face does is, as part of the things that they make users pay, is something they have got something called inference endpoint, inference API. So what you can do is you can basically try to use this model. It won't be available for free. You can see that inference API is turned off. For a particular model, for you to use, inference API has to be on. If it is on, you can just copy the model path, then go to your Google Colab notebook, and here you just have to replace the organization name and model name. That will help you use any model that you want. This is one of the questions that a lot of people had asked me in the past. Like, how do you use different model? This is how you use different model. One, the inference endpoint has to be on. Like any model that you go to the models. Any model that you want to pick, especially the large language models, the inference endpoint has to be on. Like in this case, inference API is on. You can see what is the detail about inference API, hosted inference API. You've got test and evaluate you can do, how many calls you can make a month. All these details are there. But if it is not on, then probably you need to deploy the model separately yourself, and then you need to use it in the code. Ideally, what you need to do is, this is the place where you're going to give the model name inside HF agent. So this is for any model that is on Hugging Face. But if you want to use OpenAI, it's quite simple. You need to get the OpenAI key and paste the OpenAI key, very similar like what we did with Hugging Face key. And then you can initialize any model that you want. Here they have initialized it with Text Davinci 003, but Chat GPT model, which is the GPT 3.5 Turbo, is a lot cheaper. So you can use that model as well if you want. So at this point, you have initialized the model. If you have used Hugging Face token, you don't have to add any other key. If you have OpenAI, then you would have to add OpenAI key. But at this point, you have initialized your HF agent or OpenAI agent. In some way, you have initialized your agent. Now, all you have to do is go ask questions to your agent. For example, you can say agent.run, generate an image of a boat in the water. So all you have to say is whatever you want to do. Here you want it to generate an image. And what do you want the prompt to be? A boat in the water. And then that has been assigned to an object called boat. I'll tell you why this is helpful later on. Once you see this image is now created, not really like the best stable diffusion image, but as you can see, it has managed to create the image thanks to the instructions the large language model has got. How it has done? So first, the agent has come up with this explanation. It says, I will use the following tool. The tool name is image_generator to generate an image. So now this is the explanation from the agent, and the agent has also created a code. The code is like this: image is equal to image_generated, prompt is equal to a boat in the water. This is quite helpful because now what you can do is not only you can create the image, but you can also see how the prompt goes. So if something goes wrong, you know how to change this text, or you know how that you should play with this text in such a way that it can help you create a better explanation or a better prompt input that goes inside the agent, which will use your input to create this explanation. One another cool thing is, if you run agent.run with return code is equal to true, then it's not going to run it, but rather it would return the code. And the advantage here is that you can use that code now. You can use this code literally now as an input to something else. Now you can take this code, do an explanation. The potential is endless. So if you just wanted to run, then you can use this. If you don't want it to run, if you wanted to only return the code, then you can add an argument called return_code to the agent.run, and it will return the code for you. So that's another cool feature. So now you might be wondering, why did we assign it to this object called boat while it is already printed? And the answer is because now you can pass that object to the next agent.run or whatever you want to do. So you can say, can you caption the boat image? Look at this curly quote. So whenever you have this curly quote, or it's not a curly quote, it's a slanting quote. Okay, some quote. So that's the symbol that's below tilde. So whatever that quote is, whenever you give it, what this agent is going to do is the agent is going to look for that particular text as a parameter. So I can say, can you caption the boat image? Now it's going to look for boat image as an additional parameter, and then it's going to look for a value there. So now what we have done is we have taken this boat and given it as an additional argument here, and that goes inside this, and that is being asked, the agent has been asked to caption the image. Can you caption the boat image? Now the agent has come up with an explanation. I will use the following tool called image underscore captioner to generate a caption for the image. This is the code, and it's going to download the model and it's going to run. Now this is exactly why I asked you to run this on GPU, because while we are still using APIs, right? We are still using APIs. We are using the star coder through Hugging Face Inference API. We are using OpenAssist through API. We are using large language model like OpenAI through API. While these large language models are, the agents are being accessed through APIs, the actual tools, like I at the start of the video, I told you we have two things, agents and tools. The agents are accessed through APIs while the tools are run locally. So your Google Colab notebook is running the tool. So the agent is just merely to generate the code for you and help you execute it. So the data, whatever you are sending, is not going to the agent. I mean, your prompt goes to the agent, but the images that you generate, everything gets generated on your local machine. Because you're seeing this demo on Google Colab, everything gets executed on Google Colab. That's exactly why I told you to run this on a GPU. So that's another important aspect to keep in mind. This image captioning actually ran on this Google Colab, not through an API, by literally downloading the models into this Google Colab notebook. You can see the models, in fact, probably somewhere here. So these models are being downloaded inside your Google Colab GPU, and that's how this captioning has been made. And it's a pretty decent caption, to be honest. A small boat floating in the ocean, and it's not a very small boat, but it's floating in the ocean. So that is how you take first one output of a single agent run. So this agent run's output boat is being sent to another agent at run using this slanting code and also the additional parameter that we passed. So that's how you take one output and send it to the agent, the next agent query. Another thing it can do is, one of the things that people are always fascinated about is, can I use ChatGPT to, read a page, read news, get summary of a paper and all these kind of things? And it can do this pretty decent. And as you know, I'm not actually using OpenAI API. In fact, OpenAI API probably might give me better result. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to simply say agent.run, give me the summary of this particular page, hf.co. All I'm asking it to do is give me a summary of hf.co, and it went here and it said hf.co, and then it is looking for the text, downloading all the text, using a summarizer, and then printing the summary. So the explanation from the agent is, I will use the following tools. Very simple. Text downloader to download the text from the URL, summarizer to create the summary of the text, and then print it. As you can see, it's downloading all the models, but finally it is giving me the summary. Hugging Face is an AI community building the future, blah, 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 and all these kind of details are available. Not the best again, but it's really amazing for the first version, and you can play with this. You can play with different links, and that's exactly why I'm making this video. So far what we have seen is, we said agent.run, and the agents work pretty well. And in fact, like if you have got an agent that is powered by OpenAI large language models like Text DaVinci O3 or GPT 3.5 Turbo, it works really good. But what if you want the agents to have memory? What we have been doing so far is passing that additional argument here. So that's how we have been giving that memory aspect to the agent. But if you want that memory to be there, then instead of using run, you can use .chat. We used agent.run, but instead of that, you can use agent.chat. And let's say I created an image, and I can say transform the image so that it shows snow, and it can make that transition. So in my experience, the chat is not so far the best, because sometimes I'm struggling to give the right prompt for that. But I'm just giving you an example of how you can make an image. First of all, you can generate the image, and then transform the image and then say whatever you wanted to do, and the prompt goes inside that. The way the agent explains you is that I will use the tool image transformer to transform the image so that it snows, and the prompt snowy goes inside it and then it transforms. Chat is really good. I think, in fact, if you have got the text, right now we are looking at image examples. If you have got only text, I think chat works pretty well, and I would encourage you to try it out. So you can show me a mask of the snowy capybaras, and you can create the mask and all these things. But sometimes, you want to clear the history. You don't want the agent to remember everything from the start. So if you want to clear the history of, or the memory of the agent, all you have to do is agent dot prepare underscore for underscore new underscore chat. That will actually refresh the memory and then start the agent with the zero memory, like the first state. So for what we have seen, like a quick summary, it's been quite long, probably I don't know, maybe 10 minutes video already. So quick summary, we learned about Hugging Face transformers, agents, tools and agents. Oh, I don't know, why do I keep on clicking this? Agents and tools. And we also learned how to do the setup, initial setup, how to create Hugging Face token, how to initialize, how to do it with OpenAI, what is the difference. If we have to write code, we have to do from transformers.tools, import HF agent or import OpenAI agent, and then we have to do. All these things are fine. We also learned agent.run. We also learned how to pass the output of one agent.run to the another agent.run so that it has this cohesion and continuous integration. And we also learned that it can access internet and do certain other things like using text downloader. And finally, we also learned that agent.chat can have that short-term memory that everybody has been longing about, LLMs. And we also learned how to reset the final memory using prepare for new chat. So all these things are happening because we have something called tools, and these tools are nothing but the models that are available in Hugging Face Model Hub. So we have got models like document question and answering, text question and answering, unconditional image captioning, image question and answering, image segmentation, speech to text, text to speech, zero shot text classification, text summarization, translation. So which means, for example, I can give a text in my language, let's say Tamil, I can say something and then ask it to translate. Based on that, I can create another prompt and then send it to speech to text, a text to speech, get an audio output, create an image. Like, I can do all these things using this set of models. And it also supports certain community based tools that are not Hugging Face tools, like text downloader to download text from a web URL, text to image, so generate an image according to a prompt that's using stable diffusion, image transformation, transform an image, like we said, create a snowy image. All these things are fine. I mean, but sometimes developers want to develop their own tool, and that's exactly what we're going to see in the next section. How do you create your custom new tool to talk to the agents, or how do you make the agents talk to the new tools? It's quite simple, to be honest. Let's say you want to create a tool, and the tool that you want to create is a cat as a service, cat as a service. And the API here is, you just have to go hit this API. It's going to give you a cat image. You hit this API, it's going to return you a cat image. You take the cat image. That's what you're going to build. Your new tool, all it is going to do is return cat image. To test it, you can just do import request and then run this, and then with Pillow you can visualize this image and you can see a cat. You have got a cat. Now, if you want to create a new tool that should interact with the agents, Hugging Face agents, all you have to do is from transformers import tool and first inherit the properties of the tool in the class that you are going to create. And this class has to have certain attributes, certain things. One, it should have an attribute name, attribute description, inputs or output attributes. If you are familiar with Gradio, you must be super familiar with this, a call method. Instead of looking at the text, let me show you the code. From transformers import tool, from Hugging Face underscore hub import list models. That's not very important, but let's keep this first. Now we discussed 4 things we need: name, description, input or output, call method. So name, what is a cat name? What is the tool name? Cat underscore feature. What is the description? The description is quite important because the description is going to be used to populate the prompt of the agent. So the description is very, very important. And if you want to create a tool name, there is certain guidelines. Make the tool name to be a performative name. So it knows like, okay, it's actually trying to fetch the cat. That improves. Then input and output. Are you giving any input? No. Are you giving any output? Yes. What is the output that comes out of this tool? Which is a simple text. Why? Because ultimately the text comes out. So now the call method where there is no input, you hit it and it is returning you the image, and the image is made resize and return. And you can try this. We can simply run this and then say tool is equal to cat image fetcher and then tool. Let me run this again. I don't know how much time it's going to take, but all we have created is we have created a class, okay, that's hitting an API, giving you a cat image in response. We call it cat fetcher. The description is quite input. This is a tool that fetches an actual image of the cat online. What it does, it takes no input and it returns the image of a cat. So cool. And we have got the image of the cat. Now for this tool to be included in the list of tools that the agent can talk to, we have to manually send this tool when we initialize or instantiate the agent. So if you see the first very top code where we instantiated the agent, you can see here we said agent is equal to HF agent and the endpoint. We said agent is equal to HF agent and then the endpoint of OpenAssist, Open AI agent and then the API. So what we are asking you to do right now is if you want to send the custom tool, you have to say agent is equal to HF agent, the endpoint, and then say additional tools. And inside that additional tools, you send the tool that you just created, because the tool is been assigned to this object. Sorry, cat image fetcher has been assigned to this object called tool. So just send it. Just send it, and all the tools that you are creating can be added to your agent environment or the agent ecosystem just like this. So let's say you want to create an agent, create a tool that goes and fetches stock market price. I mean, it's quite easy with all the APIs that you can do, and you can literally do the same and then send it inside this so that it has additional tool. Now, once you have sent the additional tool to the existing tool ecosystem of your agent, let's try to use the tool. So we can say, fetch an image of a cat online and caption it for me. So here we are not specifically saying, note this, here we are not specifically saying that this agent should ideally use cat fetcher. We have not mentioned that. But the agent has learned to do that because, I mean, learned is probably like a far-fetched word. Because of the description and the title that we have given, the agent knows that it has to use cat fetcher. So when we say fetch an image of a cat online, so the agent knows, oh, I have probably got a tool in my probably pocket list. This is a tool that fetches an image of a cat online. So when we say fetch an image of a cat online, it knows that you have to fetch that cat image using this tool called cat fetcher and caption it using another model or another tool. So cat fetcher to fetch the image of cat, image captioning to caption it, and then it's going to give you a cat sitting under a pink table. Let me run this again so that we can see what's the latest image that we have got. So, okay, it's just going to literally fetch an image and they say a cat laying on top of a chair. Okay, that's exactly how you add your own tool. Like I said, let's say you have built a tool that can parse that can get stock market data. Now, all you have to do is use the tool to get the stock market data, send it to HF agent, ask a question, maybe, read out loud 5 insights or buy point or sale point, something like that. And maybe it can generate that MP3 audio for you and then it can play. So this takes us to the end of this video. What we have learned so far is we have learned everything end to end about Transformers agents, about Transformers tools, and how to create your custom tool and how to chain the agents and how to make this entire thing work so that you have got something like a LangChain agent, a LangChain equivalent here, but primarily for coding. And in just natural language, you can do this coding. Imagine you plug in the system with OpenAI Whisper or Hum speech to text. I think this is ridiculous and quite amazing. And I will link this Google Colab notebook and also this documentation in the YouTube description so that it's easier for you to get started. If you have any comments or any suggestions, let me know in the comments. But I feel that everybody who asked me to create the hands-on tutorial will be happy now. Thank you so much. See you in the next video.